Welcome to our telecast. In today's telecast, we're going to do part 4 of the Kingdom of Heaven. It's at hand. 90 seconds to the Doomsday clock. Seconds into this video. Perhaps not even 10 seconds. The Lord speaks to me and He shows me 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. The end of all things, it's at hand. And I have said that 90 days from now, life changes drastically on the earth. Life will be dramatically changed. And we just did a title called The Coming Invasion, where the glory of God is sounding the alarm that the nation of Israel is about to be invaded from the north and also from the south. And the Lord sent a stern warning to all of not only U.S. allies into the West and to NATO that they need to help the nation of Israel beef up its security, because Israel is about to be invaded, and the people in the nations in those countries, and the first to lead that coalition of those nations and countries to invade not only Israel is the nation of Turkey and its president Erdogan. I want to make that clear with Iran. And then the Lord said in the title in which I did not too long ago, The Coming Invasion, the glory of God said that Turkey with Iran, with these group of these nations and these countries will not only send drones into not only the nation of Israel, but Israel's going to need a whole lot of help because it's about to be invaded. And then the glory of God said that there's going to be a major collision in the battle for the Dome of Rock. The Muslims are going to do everything they can in their power, not only to storm into the Dome of Rock, but to be able to continue to control the Dome of Rock. I want to make that very clear. But in this title, The Kingdom of Heaven is at hand, part 4, Doomsday Clock, 90 seconds, lights out. Because the Lord just said to me, the bridegroom, and then He said immediately after that, He said the 10 version, and He's flashing to me Matthew 25, verse number 6. But you see here in Matthew 24, and I want to quickly just go to verse 3 and 4, because the disciples asked Jesus, what's the sign concerning the end of the age, concerning the end of civilization, concerning not only the end of civilization, but the end of all of humanity. And what you got in the making is not only a Psalms 83 battle and a Psalms 83 war, but I have said there is 90 seconds to the Doomsday clock. And in the title, The Coming Invasion, the glory of God had me to give you, I believe it was PowerPoint number 6 or 7, where the Lord had me write down, and I told you to write down, look up, and I believe right after that, two-state solution. And after two-state solution, I had you write down these words, a peace treaty. And then the Lord began to talk about the UN summit in the fall of September 2024. But this title, part 4 of the Kingdom of Heaven is ahead. God is sounding the alarm that the rapture is about to happen. We're inches away. And the grace of God said at the threshold, watch what He said and write this down. He said at the threshold of the celebration, there's going to be a celebration and a reunion. Remember I said a cancellation, a liberation, a cancellation, a celebration, and a reunion inside the pearly gates. And remember I said that the glory of God showed me that great cloud of witness. They were all in white, dancing, not only dancing in the presence of God, and not only a glorious God, not only a God that will never forsake the righteous. He will never abandon us. He will never leave us. Amen. He's gone to prepare a place for you and I, according to John chapter 14, with many rooms and many mansions. But in this title, 90 seconds, but the grace of God said something to me just now. He said the two candlesticks, and then he said to me the two witnesses. And I have said that somewhere in the first 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, I said the two witnesses will appear on earth, but we are closer to the rapture than you think so. Because in the title, the coming invasion, the glory of God said that we are near redemption, the moment of redemption, where he will redeem the souls of every believer, amen. And the glory of God is not only going to cross us over the finish line, but we're going to be dancing also with that great cloud of witness. And he said that he was coming back for the bride, for the saints and the believers. And the glory of God just said to me, the last trumpet. Now, the Lord said something to me also. He said these words. He said the final atonement and the final sacrificial offering that he offered to all of civilization in Jesus was that final sacrificial offering and the final atonement, amen. And he took not only your past, present, and future sin, and everything has been nailed to the cross. For God is sending a clear and stern warning to all of civilization and to the whole world that you are about to see the wrath of God, because the nation of Israel is about to be invaded. And then God said, he didn't even give me time to finish saying that. The Lord said that they will divide the land, and the dividing of the land. But let me continue. I believe that there is not only an alarming warning from God, but I believe that the Lord is reaching out and making a special appeal to all of civilization. Not only to all of civilization, to all of humanity, and to every single backslider, and those that are lukewarm, and to every pagan, every heathen, and every atheist. The Lord said something, and I want to stop for a second. He said to save your soul from the great tribulation. Look what the Lord said. He said, save your soul from the great tribulation. Why would God say that? Let me say that again. Why would God say that? Because the Lord knows the beginning to the end. And God knows that during the great tribulation, you're going to have his wrath, you're going to have Satan's wrath, you're going to have the wrath from the globalists and the left, from the merchants of the land. You're going to have not only the wrath from not only leaders around the world, and also the wrath that on people that have not received the mark of the beast. They're going to literally not only pressure you, they're going to pound you and persecute you until you decide to give in. But remember that the glory of God is saying any moment now, the rapture is about to happen. And I have said, is it possible that the church can be raptured in 2024? Is it possible that 2024, it's the year of the Antichrist, and we can be out of here in the next few months? We can be out of here in the first day of the new year of the year 2025. We can be out of here January 1st, because the Lord showed me these words. Are you ready? He said, first fruit. And you need to understand that we're about to see take place not only the rapture, but the first resurrection, and the dead and the tombs popping open. They're going to go up in glory, and the grace of God said, then the saints and the believers will follow, and they will partake, not only partake and participate in the celebration that will take place in paradise, but soon also inside the pearly gates. The glory of God is sounding the alarm. This title, part 4 of the kingdom of heaven is at hand. 90 seconds to the doomsday clock. And you need to understand, we see war that is broke out in the Black Sea. We see war that will break out any moment now over in the South China Sea, over in the Indo-Pacific. We are beginning to experience not only global war, but different wars in different parts of the world. And the glory of God says that in Matthew chapter 24, verse 6 and 7. And it says there, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. But you need to understand one bit. But I have said over and over that we're beyond verse number 8, because seconds into this video, what did the Lord say and what did he show? He said, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, the end of all things, it's at hand. And the glory of God just said to me, the kingdom of heaven, it's at hand. Why would God come out and say, save your soul, save yourself now, before the start of the great tribulation? He doesn't want anyone to perish. He doesn't want anyone to be left behind. But unfortunately, in this world, in his civilization, and since the foundations of the heavens and earth, there's always been two things in which I call. There's always two camps. There is the left, there is the right. There's the righteous, there's the wicked, and there's the godly and the ungodly. And what I want to say to you is this, that God is about to deliver the blow, and you're going to see the great separation, because the Lord said that what's going to happen pretty soon, very soon, it's a celebration. There's coming a liberation, and you need to rejoice, because the Lord almost spit it out at me. He said the word wrath, and when he said the word wrath, he said to me, Revelation chapter 3, verse number 10. He will spare us from the wrath that is coming, in the title in which I have done many times concerning Revelation 3:10. That you need to understand that you and I will not be here on earth, because the glory of God has not only spoken loud and clear in this telecast, but in many, many telecasts. And for the last several years, and for the last 4 years, the glory of God has been saying, it's only a time of preparation. And the Lord said in the title, the coming invasion, he said and made it very clear to look up, because redemption is knocking. But you and I, knowing that, and knowing what the Lord has just decreed and what he's just revealed, not only revealing 1 Thessalonians 4, 16, 17, revealing 1 Corinthians chapter 15, revealing not only Revelation chapter 4, and then in the coming invasion, he spoke from Daniel chapter 12, 1, but then before that, he said Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, 27, and keep in mind, Daniel chapter 7, verse 20 and 21, because there will be a time during the great tribulation. And during that time, they're going to experience that great conversion. I want you to understand that God is basically saying that those individuals and those people that are left behind and receive Christ into their heart, the glory of God will seal them also. Not only seal them, but on the day of redemption, you need to realize that the Lord has said on that day, he will cross us over the finish line. Let me now begin to close. And in this telecast, in this part 4 of the kingdom of heaven, it's at hand. You see war. You see global war. You see war over in the Black Sea. You see war that's intensified. War that is escalating. And in that escalation, there's going to be different wars and global war. And also, the glory of God said that you're going to see severe drought. And not only severe drought, the Lord is saying to me that he reveals everything first to his prophet. He is showing me Amos 3:7, but then he showed me Amos 8:11. There's coming a famine of the hearing of the word, and a drought. And not only a drought, but you need to understand that the Euphrates River has to be completely dry before they cross over for the battle. And you need to understand one more thing, that God in this part 4 is putting the whole world on notice that everything is simply about to escalate. And in that escalation, in the intensity behind that escalation, you see war, and you see that there's going to be a collision. And not only world leaders are going to collide, but they're going to beef up their military, and they're going to go what? Straight into war. But what's coming, the glory of God showed me, what's coming It's a peace treaty. And you need to keep in mind the fall of September 2024. We see catastrophic events. We see things that we have never seen before. We see the satanic invasion. We see the diabolical things that are taking place inside the church, and not only inside the church, but around the world and around the nations, and in different parts of the world and different countries, and in cities, and in regions, and outskirts, and even in places, and in the deserts, somewhere in the deserts where there's no man or no man can be found. You're going to see not only major drought, major escalation, but the glory of God said to me just now that in the doomsday clock, all you're going to see is darkness. Let me now take my time and close. The Lord just said darkness. And the Spirit, in the grace of God, is sounding the alarm to a whole different level. You need to pencil and you need to circle this telecast, and keep in mind, circle 90 seconds to the doomsday clock, and also circle 90 days, because life will change. And the glory of God said to me, and people scrambling, running to the hills, looking to hide into the caves, because that is simply Revelation chapter 6. When the clouds clear, he comes out of those clouds. He appears not only there, you see the rainbow, and everyone starts to head for the exit, for the hills and for the mountain, and try to hide in caves. But remember that God's omnipresence, God is everywhere. His glory, not only his glory, but you need to understand that God is a God of war. And he said that several weeks ago, and God is about to flex. Not in the flesh. He's about to flex in the spirit. And he's about to move and swing the emotions, and not only of every world leader and every world power and government, to go straight to war. And what you got here any day now, it's the invasion, where they will invade the nation of Israel. In this title, part 4 of the kingdom of heaven, it's at hand. 90 seconds to the doomsday clock. What would I say, and what can I say to convince you of what should happen on the earth that will convince you more and more that we are closer than ever to the 90 seconds clock? A liberation, a cancellation, a celebration, and a reunion, and we're going to go up clothed in a glorious heavenly body. I'm going to close by saying these words, that you need to take things not lightly. Don't take this telecast or the things that God has been saying on this telecast, especially when it comes to the coming invasion, because God has every intention to bring on the world stage the Antichrist. Is it possible that in 2024, you and I will not be around? The only one that comes around and appears on the world stage, it's the lawless one. And remember 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, that lawless one will be revealed. But when they talk peace and peace, suddenly destruction on the earth. And what you got, it's a nuclear arm race, nuclear war, not only hypersonic missiles. And the nation of Israel is going to have to beef up its security and guard its borders from the north, from the east, from the south, and from the west. And God warned not only the west and the west allies that you need to quickly come over to Israel's side and help Israel, because Israel is going to need a whole lot of help to be able to fight this invasion. And remember the collision for the Dome of Rock. And then God said, in the coming invasion, he said, Zechariah 12:3. And then the glory of God said something so powerful to me. He said, Zechariah 14:4. And then after that, he said that Jesus will go straight through the golden gate. We are about to be raptured. Look up, there will be a two-state solution. There will be a war and an invasion. Two, not only when it comes, nations invading the nation of Israel, but you're going to see that the UN will quickly hold a summit before the one in September, because the coalition, it's going to go into a whole different level, because you need to keep in mind 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. But keep in mind the word what? Destruction. Destruction on the earth and violence. And not only violence, but hatred. And not only hatred, but betrayal. And not only betrayal, but manipulation. And not only manipulation, but scandals in corruption. And you're beginning to see that more and more the day of the great deception not only is unfolding, but you're going to see it more as we see the day of redemption approaching. I close with these words that the Lord just uttered to me. The grace of God said, and many will simply sell away their souls. They will cave in and they will sell away their souls. And the Lord said, and they will take the mark of the beast. But I want to say to the church and to every born-again believer, you need to rehearse more, not only have more urgency, because at the twinkle of an eye, less than a split second, any day now, the glory of God is saying the church is going up in the rapture. May the Lord so richly bless you. Remember to click like, share, subscribe, hit on the bell to receive our latest telecast. And remember, I catch you on my next telecast of Catch and Go. God bless.